Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Sierra, and we are about to watch The Knick, Season 1, Episode 5, entitled They Capture the Heat. And if you enjoy this reaction, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe.
Right in here. Right this way, gentlemen. Bring him right in here.
For the love of Christ, boss, why don't we take him to the Knick?
Because I don't want to be in debt to that crooked little shit Barrow.
If you gentlemen would take a firm hold of your friend.
No!
All right, that fucking tears it. Find a telephone.
Guess they're headed to the Knick.
Treatment comes with a free shave and the haircut. Bring your friend back around.
So he's like an old school doctor. I know that back in the day, surgeries were performed in barber shops. So I'm guessing he's one of those old school surgeons that still exist.
Does it cause you a great deal of pain?
It make it difficult to walk.
How do you make your living? With your back?
No, I roll cigar. 100% Cuban tobacco.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I have yet to perform an operation in which the silk sutures, the sewing that reinforces the gut, hasn't failed. That's why, with your permission, Mr. Mendieta, I would like to perform your operation using a metallic wire, like silver, as a medical suture.
They say every cloud has a silver lining, and now Mendieta will have one too.
Can you save the leg?
What kind of business have you got with Monkey Collier? Edwards, brings you here so early in the morning?
Just trying to impress you, Dr. Thackeray.
Well, as long as you're here, scrub in. You'll be assisting me in surgery.
Like Helen.
Who else is there? Gallinger?
Yes.
He doesn't. Very well, gentlemen.
Let's go. Dang, give him something for the pain, man.
I told you in a carriage. I'll cut 500 from your debt if you don't lose the leg.
500,
Fair enough.
That's it?
Thank you, nurses.
Do we know
We'll take
what
it from here.
Barrow owes Bunky for?
What the hell is that? What's that coon think he's doing down there? That black bastard better not get too familiar with my man if he don't want to find himself hanging from a lamppost.
Yo, chill. What is that? Sticking out
One
of his
thing
leg.
more. If he loses that leg, I'll compensate you by shooting all three in the fucking face.
Yeah, right. He ain't that stupid. Ugh. Oh, God.
Funny thing about Darwin.
What's incredible is that they're totally working together perfectly fine, treating him fair, you know? There was no hate from Thackeray in that surgery. They worked together just fine. He was educating him, he was teaching him, talking to him.
Are all the staff here today?
All but 3 who were released last week.
Which 3 were released?
The electric automobile driver, assistants to the cook.
Yep,
Do you have their addresses?
cooks.
If I do, they're...
Christ, it gets so humid in this town.
It's all the tall buildings. They capture the heat.
They ain't gonna let you have a sip.
A pleasure, as always, Doctor.
They don't even see it. They don't even see the racism.
Oh, he'll be back to accommodating you at one of Collier's cat houses in no time
Okay,
at all.
that's what I was thinking. So the girl that did the busy flea, she's like a whore in one of Bunky's whorehouses, and I guess he has back pay for going to visit the girl.
Still got the Edison people are making their presentation at noon.
The Edison people. I'm also not exactly sure what it is about her that he's so crazy about. She did what any other nurse would in that situation where she had to shoot him up in that first episode. I don't know.
The Edison X-ray photographic apparatus.
Ooh, X-ray.
Those are actually the bones.
They are, specifically of a 35-year-old woman. You can see the phalanges here, the proximal, the distal, and here where she fractured her second and third metacarpals.
It's incredible.
It's the future.
And what does the future cost these days?
$3,000. You think that saving money by not laundering staff uniforms and charging them for meals, as Mr. Barrow suggests, will suddenly bring back patients with money?
Charging them for meals and not washing their clothes. That's crazy.
The value of this building is only going down.
What you got to say, Barrow?
Overrun by the poor, living in a fantasy where bills don't need to be paid and expensive resources are tossed out to the impoverished
Barrow.
like silver coins from a...
But I've made some mistakes.
What sort of mistakes?
Watch it.
I took money from my employer. I invested it with a Wall Street man that said it couldn't lose. Then it did. So I took more money and I tried to get it back. And we hit the drop of 98 and we all lost.
Hello, Mr. Barrow.
Officer?
I come looking for a favor. I want to propose a little business with Mr. Collier, and I need a proper introducing.
What makes you think I know this man?
I seen you coming out of his place a few times. We get a lot of girls off the street. Round them up and bring them in. Freelancers who hook for no one. I thought if I could convince a few of them to work for Mr. Collier, he protects them, gives them a good place like this to work, and
Wow.
Use the money for bringing them in.
Finding fee for recruiting
everyone.
whores.
It's a service to the girls and to Mr. Collier.
A police officer.
I just need someone to vouch for me.
Interesting.
Well, we shouldn't keep a paying customer waiting.
We changed our minds and we must ask you, please, to leave. Now the procedure is contrary to the will of God.
What do you know about the will of God? You're bloody heathens.
We are Christians.
Look at your face.
How long has she been like this?
Since you left this morning.
You need to get Lily to Nick right away. Go into the bedroom, get the baby sings, I'll call a carriage.
What's the matter with her, Everett?
I'll tell you in the carriage.
No, tell me now.
Don't say typhoid.
She's presenting with symptoms of meningitis.
What is that?
It's a viral infection of your brain, and a stiff neck is a common symptom. I just can't be certain. That's why we need to go to the hospital now.
Charles.
Oh, that's Cordelia's dad, the Robertsons.
I would know. Unseen, well, buzzing all
That
around us
radiation
like
exposure,
electricity.
though. Pretty sure it's a problem at the beginning.
So how much?
He's gonna say way more than 3.
$1,000 for a single machine.
Tell me, when was the last time you dined?
Only attracts the riffraff, you know. Sorry to intrude, but I wonder.
Happy to oblige.
To this day, I can't imagine what possessed the Panamanians should.
He's so squirmy and slithery, man. He's just awkward, Barrow. If he wasn't so awkward, man, he'd fit in.
Donated 2 of them to Manhattan Hospital. Well, enjoy your lamb.
That's who you need to be talking to, Barrow.
You can have the machine.
Pulse is strong and steady.
Another here with an emphasis on the stitching.
Taking pictures. Go ahead. Go ahead, Algernon.
Shame. All those pretty silver stitches is going to seal up that fat man.
All right, ladies, show's over. Back to work. Beginning with the 2 outside.
Ooh.
2, you say?
She black?
Don't normally keep coons. Customer asks. Tell him you're in octa room. Understand? My colleague Jimmy here will now test your level of enthusiasm.
Wow. Jimmy's got a nice little job. That big redheaded dude.
Neely, what are you doing here?
It's your mother.
Oh, crap.
She's also been unable to urinate.
It's probably just a cyst causing a blockage. I'm gonna pop it.
Something went. You gentlemen will have to excuse me now. I need to pay a visit to the privy.
Oh,
Thank you, Doctor.
There's probably a little blood in the stream, but there's nothing to worry about.
Oh, they said she wasn't urinating, so that was it. That was the key. Fix your face. He's a beast.
It feels hotter here than it ever did down there.
He's about to say.
Is that so? They capture the heat.
Algernon taught him that. Bertie is so sweet. I think he's also sweet on that nurse. Thackeray's nurse.
Where's Gallinger? And tell Dr. Chickering he'll be assisting.
Yeah, old boy has a lot going on with his daughter right now because the meningitis.
Wasn't eager to see another previa patient.
Oh, so this is the exact same preview as the situation that the mother was experiencing in the first. God. She was like...
Everett had a patient with multiple rat bites.
Oh, it's a nice bike.
I saw you on it this morning. You look free.
And I saw you in Chinatown.
Then let me teach you.
Together. Immediately me work. You're a good teacher.
You're a good student.
All right, y'all. That was The Knick, season 1, episode 5. I love babies, so I'm not about to say that's what Jerkface gets with this child being sick. I think it's really unfortunate, but I feel like as far as the show goes, that they would have to do something to get him out of the way temporarily for Algernon to get an opportunity, you know, because there's no way that he was really even going to get a chance unless like a, you know, a circumstance just popped up like it did. And I really liked the moment where Thackeray was talking to Cordelia's father and quoted Algernon. I love that. I also am interested in the nurse, Bertie, Dr. Chickering. It's in her mind, it's realistic that she could get to know, be friends, be dating, be talking to Bertie, but it almost seems like for some reason in her mind she doesn't think that it's possible with Thackeray, but Thackeray is kind of fascinated with this nurse. They hit it off. They have a really nice rapport back and forth. He probably likes the fact that she's tough, you know. She probably could have freaked out that first day when she had to give him a shot of cocaine in his freaking base of his penis. That was crazy. And I guess she handled it well. But we also know that she is attracted to him because like twice in a row, she followed his carriage to Chinatown and even went inside the brothel, whorehouse, whatever they called it back then, to see him. So we know that there is a mutual attraction. It's interesting because Thackeray is a jerk, you know, he freaking lives in a whorehouse, so to speak. But the way the show is done, his attraction to the nurse. Let me look up her name real quick. Elkins. Nurse Elkins. The way that he looks at Nurse Elkins and the things that he notices about her and the things that he sees, it's like it's not even sexual. It's coming from, I don't know, it just seems to be coming from a pure place. I was really surprised that Cordelia had the courage to roll up on Algernon where he lives. It's like a, you know, it seems from what people are saying, it seems like the Tenderloin district is like a wild area. It surprises me, number one, that she knew where he lived. And you would think that I'm kind of under the impression that they either were like teenage boyfriend and girlfriend had something going on, because his parents have worked for her family for years. So they either grew up together as like a brother and sister, best friend type thing, or they had some serious relationship. Because when we met Cordelia's fiance in the last episode, and the fiance said something about moving to San Francisco, it was obviously you don't know her because she ain't going nowhere, or word, you're gonna take my love away. I don't know. I'm I'm not sure. And another thing, like Thackeray was kind as Thackeray can be to Algernon when they were doing that procedure, and Algernon just happened to be walking by right on time. But he also, I mean, he was kind and helped Algernon's mother. And that was a really, really cool moment. He didn't know how to feel, you know, but he was impressed and he was grateful that Thackeray helped his mother out. There's a lot to think about after this episode, but I really enjoyed it like I always do. And if you did enjoy this reaction, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed already, please do so. And I'll see you on the next one.